Hey everybody, Esther here, CEO and founder of Virtual Assistant Internship and the founder of the 90-Day VA program. And I am here with one of our awesome students, Claire. Claire, thanks for joining us.
Of course.
We're going to get into breaking down really what led to her working online successfully and like what are the pieces that you can learn from her that you can apply to yourself. So, Claire, you are calling us from?
I'm in Southern California, Temecula in particular, so yes.
But I would also preface that with at the moment, because you're pretty location independent.
Yes, very much so. So I'm here for an indefinite amount of time, and we're deciding where to go next, so that's what I signed up for.
Yeah, that's awesome. And tell us just a little bit about yourself. So I think that you went to school before and now you're traveling, but like really show us what was that story and how did you want to start working online? What made that interesting for you and want to take that transition?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born and I was very lucky to have parents who loved traveling. So I started traveling since I was, I think, 2 months old. So that was always in me. I've always loved it. And as I was growing up, opportunities to travel kind of dwindled because of school, work, all of these other obligations. So I just graduated from my master's program in San Francisco. That was a 2-year program. And I was studying music, piano performance. And in my first year of my master's, I decided that I wanted to get back on traveling. It was the most I've ever traveled. So I traveled going to school, working full time, and traveling. I think we covered 6 countries in that year. So that was a lot.
Wow. Yeah.
And I know. So when I graduated in May, I needed to figure out what my next steps were. I realized that if I were to commit to being a full-time pianist, that would mean 8 hours a day sitting in a studio, rehearsing, traveling only for performances, and that would be very fast. I wouldn't get the chance to explore. It's just you traveled because you had to, not because you wanted to. So because I've also moved a ton in my life, I've moved from Singapore to New York to LA to Vegas.
What made you guys move so much?
So I moved from Singapore to New York because I went to Juilliard for school. And I was there in New York, and my parents decided to move to the West Coast. So that's why we moved over to Las Vegas. And then I started undergraduate school in LA, grad school in San Francisco. So
okay, got it. You kind of used school as an opportunity to kind of go different places, which is cool.
Exactly. But having to start over new again in a new city was the cause of all my stress and anxiety. That was just so much to handle. And in addition to looking for a new place, settling down in a new city and figuring all of that out and having to find, at that time I was teaching music. So having to find students on the side to, support myself wherever I was, that was not fun. Yeah. So the whole reason why I signed up for 90-Day VA was so that I can have something to move around with. I figured out that in 27 years of my life so far, moving seems to be a constant, but work was not. So I wanted work to be that constant with me, if not more constant than my moving. So with being a VA, I feel secure with being able to work anywhere. So if you told me I had to uproot, move to Atlanta tomorrow, I'd be like, okay, that's totally fine with me.
And do you still teach piano, or are you still involved in that world at all? And so is this kind of helping you still be able to teach on the side or something, or have you just totally transitioned over?
I've totally transitioned over. I'm a full-time VA, which blew my mind. I didn't realize it was possible because I did have a stint I do travel blog at the side too, and it's hard work. So when I actually signed up,
hard work for no money. Let's be clear.
Yes, exactly. So my thought was, if the best outcome from 90-Day VA was I would work full time somewhere doing social media and something that I was very passionate about. The medium outcome would be at least I gain some skills that I could apply to my own business as a travel blogger and marketing myself. So it was a no-brainer for me to just sign up, but I signed up at the end of May once I graduated from school. I think I was fully booked out in the middle of June. And I kid you not,
It's like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
That blew my mind.
How did this happen? I'm not surprised, honestly. I am surprised on behalf of someone who's watching this, who's never heard this before. But really, this happens all the time. It's like, this is how it goes. So how did that happen, though? Let's break it down. What happened in those 2 weeks?
Okay, so after I graduated, I had nothing going for me. I had to move from San Francisco down to Temecula, where I am right now. So I didn't have a job lined up. I'm staying with my fiance's parents, so I don't have to worry about rent. So the thing that I really buckled down was just studying, doing the course, taking so many notes and asking all the questions that I had at that time, but also being active within the 90-day VA group, because I know there's constant job postings. Even before I was done with the course, I was applying just to get my feet wet, just to see what it's like. Because I don't believe in feeling 100% prepared before you do something.
Good for you.
I don't believe, you can't be 100% prepared if you don't know what the experience is like. So I went through all of that. And then the application challenge really pushed me. When we had to send out 5, that really pushed me, because it wasn't even just looking for job postings on Facebook, but I was also looking for the types of clients that you would like to work with and pitching to them.
Yeah. So just for context, the application challenge is what she just said. We do it 2 times a year as like a super fun, special live event with all of our community members. And it includes like how to really make your resume awesome, do a great interview and stuff, but it also pushes you to apply or pitch for X amount every single day. And you all hold each other accountable, and there's prizes, and it really gets people out of their comfort zone. And like you said, just because you're not 100% done with the course doesn't mean that you aren't able to already qualify for jobs. Like, you don't need to finish the course to be able to qualify and do stuff. So it helps people that are like, I'm not ready, but really they're ready, kind of go. So you did the application challenge, you're throwing out all kinds of pitches, and then what?
And then I was getting really down, because it was just, you're applying so much and it feels like a lot of weight on you, but you don't realize that the people who you're pitching to are so busy that they can't respond to your emails when you send them out. So at first it was like a standstill where I wasn't hearing back from anyone. And then a week later, I just got emails back, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like more than I can handle right now. So that was mind-blowing for me. And actually, one of the clients that I'm working with right now, who I adore, and was someone that I actually followed very closely because she's a huge travel blogger, so much fun to work with. So we're working really closely together now, and I just wouldn't have happened if I didn't pitch to her.
What a fangirl moment. You like pitched to your person that you follow, and now you're like, JK, now I work for you.
Exactly. I'm like biting my tongue every time. I'm like, keep my cool.
Yeah. So what is your niche of, like, you work with just travel bloggers, or is there any more in particular to that you chose? And then why did you choose that group?
So I work with travel bloggers. I also, totally by chance, not my, I don't know how I ended up there, but I started working with dentists and dental speakers. So that's very interesting to me, because I don't know anything about that.
What's a dental speaker?
So the dental speakers that I work with talk about like getting board certified and anything about marketing your practice. Because what I've learned about the dental industry is that they're like 10 years behind. So social media for them is a whole new thing, and they're really pushing it out there and how you could market your practice. So that's very interesting.
So you seem really, really smart.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know anything about like dentistry at all. I drink way too much coffee that they probably.
But that doesn't matter, because you know about social media. And
Exactly. So one of the great things that kind of happened out of doing this job, is I started working with female-led businesses and brands. And I'm kind of capping myself there right now, where I want to be the support system for a female-led company. So that's something that's very important for me, and that's something that I've kind of, because I think that it's a man's world. You know, we don't need to be told that. And it's annoying. I roll my eyes at it because I totally could play with the big boys too. And so can all these women. And when we empower and lift each other up, like, we're unstoppable. I see that in these women. They work harder than any man I know, okay? So,
that's cool. And then what is the kind of stuff that you're doing for your clients, for your female entrepreneurs?
so I mostly do Instagram work. So I'm out there creating content for them. I'm repurposing their already hundreds of articles that are out there. I'm just, putting it on Instagram. I'm also putting it on LinkedIn and Facebook. So I'm doing general social media management and content creation. And I also ghostwrite for blogs too. So that's kind of the fun part.
Yeah. Now, what was the stuff from 90 Day VA that helped you transition your skills into being able to do this stuff for online? Was there like a bridge there?
Yeah, so definitely all of the content repurposing stuff was crucial and it was key because as a travel blogger myself, I know how to write for myself and in my voice, but writing for someone else is scary. I didn't know how to do it before, and I didn't know how to pick up on ways you could learn how to write in your client's voice. Like, that was just something that did not connect for me. Like, how are you supposed to write? Because you kind of have to think like them. So all that stuff about content repurposing and what to look for and like you said, reading it back in your client's voice, as silly as that sounds, really helps.
It does.
Yeah, I'm like that weirdo sitting here with like a weird accent that's totally not my own. Reading this,
talking out loud back to yourself. I know.
Yeah, but you know what? It works. I would not have done it if you didn't recommend it. I for sure would not have done that.
Good. I'm glad that helped. Yeah. Cool. I'm glad. It's something that I think a lot of people don't realize is that you can still work with amazing travel brands, travel bloggers, whatever, and you can still travel because you just work on your laptop using skills, but you can't use your own blog skills. Like, it's not the same thing to do those kinds of services for somebody else. That's
no
good.
way.
I'm glad I'm not the only one saying that. Okay, so you said fully booked before. What does that mean to you? How much are you really working? And do you feel like you're making the amount of money that you want to make? And you can feel free to share whatever numbers you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. I was living in San Francisco because of grad school, and I had a really great job there as a nanny where I was working, I think, 3 hours a day and making about $3,000 every month, which was fine for a student. And
whoa, that's really good. Is it because you were doing something with piano?
Yeah. No, I was just very lucky at that job. So I came to terms with the fact that, man, I would never get a job like that too, because I got paid holidays and I got paid summers off too. So yeah, I know.
Wow.
So I was feeling kind of for leaving that, but at the same time, rent in San Francisco was just, it did not add up. I was making that amount of money, but to be able to live there, it just wouldn't add up.
Yeah.
So I left panicking because I went from making so much money per week to absolutely nothing at all. And for me, my goal was getting up to the point where I was making the same amount of money that I was as a nanny. I worked my butt off, did the course, pitched to clients, spent countless hours doing all of that. And by mid-June, I was hitting that mark. So.
Wow. So, I mean, you worked your butt off, but it was only like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you hit that mark. And is that what you've been able to stay at consistently? Have you surpassed it?
Yes. So I'm consistently at that mark right now. And all my clients are long-term clients. So, for me, if I show up and I do the work, if I go above and beyond, I feel secure. Because I always feel like, I'm going to deliver to my clients what I can deliver. I want to build that trust with them that if they ask me for something and they know like, oh, Claire's got it and Claire will get it done quickly and with great quality, I know that once I have that in place that I know I'm solid.
Yeah. Well, and I think also you've been smart about having multiple different projects, right? So even if one is like, hey, I'm going to be going on sabbatical for 6 months, I don't need you. And you're like, first of all, we teach you guys how to make sure that they have to give you notice and pay you ahead of time so you have time and like bandwidth to find somebody else. But second of all, you have other clients. You're like, okay, cool. I just lost like a small amount of my income instead of someone who's in like, they feel so secure in this job, but that's where all your money is coming from. And they could come and say, oh, sorry, we're downsizing. You're out tomorrow. It's like this false sense of security.
Yes. So I had this talk with some people where they're like, are you sure this is a real job? You're working with X amount of clients. What if they leave? Well, the way I think of it is if your work or your job were like a vase, if I lost a client, I'm plugging up one hole or like filling up a crack.
Right.
If you lost your job, you're completely broken.
That's a really good way to look at it. Did that make sense to them?
Yeah. Yeah. They kind of were silent and I'm like, okay, this is good.
Mic drop.
For me.
Okay. So what do you think really contributed? I mean, the client application challenge obviously was important, doing the coursework, but like, how did we cram this into the like 2 to 3 weeks before you were replacing your entire income? Like, what was the stuff and what are the strategies that you use even now to make sure that your clients are really, really happy? You're able to, take on any more work that you want. Maybe you still are blogging on the side, or maybe you still are wanting to practice your amazing piano. Like, how are you able to like get all these things done?
Yeah. So the whole thing was kind of hit or miss for me in the beginning because I had never done anything like this. So figuring out the schedule was a key component to my success, I would say, because before I had a specific time where I had to be at work, a very specific time when I had to make classes. But when you're on your own, you make your hours. Mm-hmm. So in the beginning, when I knew that I needed to get on this quick so that I could start a business and start getting clients, I was waking up at 5, 6 in the morning, sitting down at my laptop with a cup of coffee and just working my way through it. I was just sitting there. I would take breaks to have meals, but I would sit there from 6 in the morning until midnight. And I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep. Wow. And do that all over again today. So
how long was that sustainable for?
Quite a long time. I think I did that for a week.
Okay.
So, which is great for me, which I think really boosted and jump-started it for me because I knew that I had this routine. It was easier for me to cut back later than to slowly those hours. So when I started getting clients, that was my same mentality where I was like, I was going to go ham. I was going to go hard, give everything I got, get the hang of this. Because some of the things that I learned from your class, like Pinterest, was completely new for me. Tailwind. So I would sit down for 5 hours, just really figuring things out for myself so that I knew that tomorrow would be much easier. So going ham in the beginning so that I could be like, okay, I've got this. It takes me now 5 minutes to do this as opposed to the 3 hours that it was a week ago or whatever. And knowing that what I put in the beginning will even itself out later. So that really helped me.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. What helped you to feel confident enough to pitch to these dream travel bloggers? Like now you feel like you've had some skills, we're running the live application challenge, but you still could have been like, no, I can't do it. Like how did you overcome that?
Yeah, so I think the week before the application challenge was very, very helpful. That really gave me the confidence I had because application kit, makeover and making sure that everything is in place, interviewing tips, all these things, basically everything you need to know before you pitch to someone. So that it looked, even if I wasn't feeling 100%, I knew on a screen that it looked professional, that it looked like I knew what I was doing. I may not feel that way, and that's the thing too, you always don't feel 100% even though you do have the tools, right? So making sure that I came off as professional and where my skill set really was, detached from my emotions was very important. So having that week before to prepare all of that was very crucial. Yeah.
What do you mean by detached from your emotions? What does that mean?
So I feel like a lot of us have imposter syndrome, or like, you know how to do something, but you don't feel like I'm not good enough, or like I don't really deserve to get paid to do this. So I know I definitely feel that way. And when it comes to working with clients and pitching yourself, that really can't be a part of the equation. You can't let your insecurity be known, because that's your problem, right? That has nothing to do with my client. That has nothing to do with anyone else. That's a me problem.
I love that.
Yeah, making sure that problem stays a me problem. Like, I could feel that way later tonight when I'm like not working and not doing anything else.
I love that. You're like, while I'm pitching, I'm on it. Later, nervous Claire can come out and we'll talk to her. But right now, she's not invited.
Exactly. So really being able to push that aside and dealing with that later, and not putting it in my work and in front of a client. So that's important.
Love that. I hadn't even thought about that. Have you found, because I say this, but it's going to be way stronger for you to say it, that clients, even, they don't necessarily expect you to be an expert? Like, is what we taught in 90 Day VA enough? Because I feel like a lot of people think they need to be this like expert Pinterest person, but really it's like the client doesn't have time or want to go and research Tailwinds and do the 5 hours that you put in, and they're fine paying you to do that. Have you found that with your clients?
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, social media is such a time-consuming thing to begin with. So all my clients start out this way. We know we need to be on social media. We don't have the time to do it. So what I've always started telling new clients now, if I'm pitching or if I have an interview, is, hey, I'm not here to do your job. What you do best is what you do best. And I'm here to make you focus on that so that you don't have to think about social media at all. You just tell me what you need done. Focus on you. I'll take care of all the Instagrams, the Pinterest.
Right. I love it. Yeah. And I think that that's another thing that people get stuck on is like, oh, well, I'm not this like social media manager certificate and I went to school for 4 years. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you know enough, you have a portfolio, you know how to make it. And even if like the company, imagine that this company is like, we know we need to be on Pinterest and it's an important strategy. We have no bandwidth on our team for anybody to do that. So it's fine if it's your first time and you're going to muddle through, like, that's okay, because none of us can.
Right. Exactly.
Awesome. Okay. What would be your one big piece of advice to other hustling virtual assistants?
So my biggest advice would be to put in the time, because no one else is going to do it for you. And if you have an idea of where you want to be in X amount of time, you need to think about what that looks like getting to that point. So for me, it was waking up at 6 a.m. and going to bed at midnight. I'm not saying that everyone should do that, because I get people have lives too. I didn't at that time.
You're not the only person who's done that, though. There's a couple other girls in the program who literally, like, I took off work for 2 weeks because I wanted to hustle through the program so I could start applying for jobs, and it ended up working in their benefit because they were working online in like 6 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. So you're not the only one. And of course, not everybody can do that. But yes, I love that.
Yeah. Also, I would say is really investing in it, because I see now as a student on the other side of things, people on the other end thinking, oh, this is a lot of money to pay and I don't have the time or I don't have the resources to get there. What I did was I put it on a credit card, paid it off in a week. So you have to invest in these things. I saw it as exactly that. And now I'm making way more than that price tag on the course.
Right. The ROI on it is ridiculous if you actually do it and apply for jobs. Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. I think that some people have a hard time separating like putting clothes on a credit card versus investing in like a skills training, like a course, like a certification type of program that's going to help you get a job. And that has a clear return on investment, right?
Exactly. And there's a longevity to it. So
That's a really good point. That's a good point. And then what is your advice for other people that are looking to want to start working online?
So I would just say do it. Do it right now. Don't think about it. If that's on your mind, 24/7, or even if it's on your mind lingering there, just go ahead and jump into it, because there's so much work for everyone. There's so much. Like, I'm swamped right now, and I'm still applying and pitching because I know that I have to keep relevant just in case, so I'm trying to book up my backlog, and a lot of people are looking for that. So I'm referring other people now. I'm referring like Beyonce, who does illustration, who could do, Canva work. So yeah, just jump into it.
That is something people don't realize, because they didn't have the skills and they couldn't find jobs and everything was a scam. They don't realize it's like, oh my gosh, no. Once you are skilled up and know how to look for the work, you're like booked out months in advance. That was me. That was why I started the program, because I had nobody to refer. Like, I'm so glad to hear other people say that. All of our students say that all the time. Like, I'm so booked out. I've only been in this for like a month. Like, yeah, welcome. Welcome to the madhouse.
It's a little great problem to have.
The great problem to have. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Well, Claire, thank you so, so much. I hope this was helpful for some of you that are wanting to get started working online as a virtual assistant. Claire, where can people follow your adventures at?
So I'm at Driving Me Nomad on Instagram, or you could head over to my blog with the same URL. So
yeah, she's traveling and she talks about working online a little bit too, and her experience with the program and clients and where she's going. So that can be fun for some of you to watch. All right. Thank you, Claire.
Bye.